Hello, everybody, and welcome to LaughQ Listen and Learn. We are here to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and we're so happy to have you here with us tonight. I am Kelly Swiger, and along with Kelly Ellsworth Etchison and Sheila Scott of LaughQ, as well as Kristen Shelley of the East Lansing Public Library, we will be your hosts for tonight. The program, which brings you a lot of great events and presentations tonight, include well-known author Elaine Hardy, who will be reading a special story. You'll see great dance, you'll hear great music, you will hear special quotes from some special guests, and you'll learn about art. Don't forget about the end of the program, where we will be drawing 3 gift cards for Barnes & Noble, but you must be present at the time of the drawing in order for a chance to win. So more to come on that. Just a little bit of information about LaughQ Listen and Learn. We're really excited about this program. It was started in December, and it's a program which highly encourages listening, learning, and reading in our community, and doing so in fun ways like we're doing tonight in fun and interactive ways. So in future months to come, you will see many more events like this, where we have different partners and different organizations that we partner with to bring you these great events. And you can also reach out to our YouTube channel, as well as our devoted reading phone line. And thanks to the East Lansing Library, Public Library, we have some great book suggestions that we've pre-recorded on those channels. So definitely check them out if you get a chance. So more to come on that. Just to go over a few housekeeping rules before we start the program. When the program begins, if you can mute your lines, but you will also, throughout the program, there'll be different presenters at different times, which we want to hear your voices, and they will let you know. So keep those listening ears on when they let you know when to unmute your lines. And you can use our chat box to the right-hand side of your screen for any comments or any questions you have. Definitely use that. And we will be recording tonight's program. So tonight would not be possible without a great big team of people, and we thank each and every one of you. A special thank you to our friends and partners, the East Lansing Public Library, the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commission of Mid-Michigan, Elaine Hardy, Worship Without Words Community Dance, Rodney Page, Eli Birch, and our special guests, Marvin, Elena, Priya, Journey, Ben, and Michael. So please help me extend a warm welcome to Miss Kristen Shelley from the East Lansing Public Library. Everyone unmute your lines and say, hi, Miss Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen. Well, welcome tonight. This will be a great program. And as you can see, the East Lansing Public Library has books to share on Dr. Martin Luther King and many other diverse and cultural subjects. So please check us out at elpl.org, and anybody can get a free library card at the East Lansing Public Library. So you can sign up online, and we're doing curbside service, and we have 24/7-hour lockers so you can get your items. And now, without any further ado, I am so excited to introduce these young people who are going to share the magical words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
time is always right to do what is right.
Love is the most durable power in the world.
We are not makers of history, we are made by history.
We celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
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 Thank you, kids, for those beautiful quotes. If you enjoyed those quotes as much as I did, can you please unmute yourself and say great job or thumbs up?
Great job!
Great job! Woo!
Well,
Great job.
Okay. Up next, we have a faith-based community dance group under the leadership of Heather Taylor. Please help me welcome Worship Without Words.
Glory to Jesus. Into the Holy of Holies I go, just to commune with you. 'Cause when we gather, nothing else matters. If I can just get through, everything that I need is in you. You're all I need to know. And even though my soul is thirsty, you are the God of the overflow. Just lift your hands right here and say this with me. Your presence. Your presence is water. Yes, Lord, Lord. So come fill me, then fill me again. If that's you, lift your hands and say, Father, I need you tonight. Glory, come on, into the holy, just to commune with you. 'Cause when we gather, nothing else matters. If I can just get through, yeah. Everything that I need, hey. And even though my soul is thirsty, you are the God. That's who you are, yeah. Yeah. Everybody say your presence here. I'm talking about my God. Your presence is water. Oh Lord, come fill me, then fill me again. Your presence. You gotta know, you wanna say it for yourself. Your presence. Sing it from your heart tonight. Oh yeah. So come fill me, then fill me again. Your presence. Somebody lift that up in the room tonight. Yeah, sing it like you mean it. Your presence. Say, I love you. Open up your own mouth and say, I worship you. Just wanna tell you, Lord, I love you. Yes, I do. Say yeah, 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 yeah. I love you. I worship. I just wanna tell you, Lord, I love you.
Goodness, that was such a beautiful performance by Worship Without Words Community Dance Group. Thank you so much. Please, everyone, unmute yourself and say, great job.
Great job.
Great job. All right.
Great.
Awesome.
Great
Well,
job.
next up, I'd like to introduce you to a very talented young artist. He will be talking to you about some of his art pieces. One of his winning art pieces, under the theme "Be the Change You Wish to See in the World," was an entry through the Dr. Martin Luther King Commission of Mid-Michigan a couple years ago. He will show you how art can tell a story and have a voice and make a difference in our world. Please welcome Eli Birch.
Hi, my name is Eli Birch. I am a freshman at East Lansing High School, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the art that I've done for the Martin Luther King contest. I've always loved art, and being creative was really important to me, and then I was encouraged by my 6th grade art teacher to look into other ways of showing, going onto the art council and signing up for contests, and which kind of exposed me to what the art world can offer. In 2019, I won the art contest for this drawing, and the topic was "Be the Change." I was inspired to draw I was inspired to draw hands because it was something that we were working on in art, and I wanted to implement my own art style onto the drawing with following the theme of the contest. In 2020, I got first runner-up for this drawing, and it's of important African American civil rights leaders and just leaders all around. And then I drew Martin Luther King in the middle, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Barack Obama, and Harriet Tubman. And I wrote "Everyone Has a Story, What's Yours?" because it was to show how everyone can make an impact on the world. And the theme was "Silence is Betrayal," and I took my own spin on that with this. I've always liked drawing since I was really little, and it's really a good outlet for a lot of creativity. It's a really fun thing to do, and I recommend it to anybody who's looking to do something creative. And then I really started taking drawing seriously once I started entering contests like the Matt Epling contest and the Martin Luther King contest, and that really inspired me to keep on drawing. And I think it would inspire a lot of people to keep on drawing, to do some stuff like that, and just draw for people. Draw anytime you can. And then yeah, I hope I never stop drawing, and I hope you guys never stop drawing either.
So a huge thank you to Eli for your artwork and for sharing it with us. To all the young people online now, look what you can do in sixth grade. So all the great things that can happen just at your fingertips. So if you liked Eli's art, please unmute yourself and say cool or great job, Eli, or give the thumbs up.
Great job, Eli.
Great job. Great job.
Awesome.
Very cool. Very cool.
Good job, Eli.
I hope Eli gets to hear some of this. Next up, I am absolutely thrilled to introduce to you the extraordinary and beautifully talented violinist Rodney Page.
Thank you so much, Kristen. I really appreciate that. We have a special treat for you all today. I'm gonna perform for you a rendition of "Lift Every Voice and Sing," but I'd like to just tell a little bit about the piece, just so that you can learn just a little bit of the background behind it. "Lift Every Voice and Sing," often called the Black National Anthem, was written as a poem by James Weldon Johnson and then set to music by his brother John Johnson in 1899. It was first performed in public in the Johnsons' hometown of Jacksonville, Florida, with a choir of 500 school children at the segregated Stanton School, where James Weldon Johnson was principal. I hope you enjoy this classical rendition of this powerful selection, "Lift Every Voice and Sing."
Wasn't that awesome? If everyone can unmute and tell Mr. Rodney, what a great job he did.
Thank you, Mr. Rodney.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. So we would normally have Miss Elaine Hardy, the chair of the Dr. Martin Luther King Commission of Mid-Michigan, slated to read. But Elaine is at City Council in East Lansing for work. And so she was unable to get away. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do the gift card drawing. And then we're going to have Kristen Shelley from the East Lansing Library do the reading of The Little Marcher.
All right. So are you guys ready for the gift card drawing? If you are, give me a yes. All right. Well, we will be drawing 3 e-gift cards to Barnes & Noble. So I need a drum roll. Can somebody give me a drum roll? Ready, Adrian? Okay. The first winner is Natalie Johnson. Sorry. So congratulations, Natalie.
Thank you.
All right. I need another drum roll. The winner is Caroline Magnone. If I said that right, apologize if I didn't. Woo!
Wow. Thank you.
Congratulations.
You want a book? We can get books. Yeah.
All right. And our third winner, I need one more drum roll.
No, we haven't even.
Kathleen McCulloch. You are our third winner. Congratulations.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
We win.
All right.
Okay, and I apologize. I haven't practiced reading The Youngest Marcher, but I'll do my best. It is a really great story, and it's the story of Audrey Faye Hendricks, who was a young civil rights activist. And the title is The Youngest Marcher by Cynthia Levinson. Whenever Mike flew into town, Audrey and her mama cooked barbecue ribs, stewed greens, sweet potato souffle, and Audrey's favorite, hot rolls baptized in butter. Other folks knew Mike as Martin or Dr. King. The Hendrickses used his nickname. They did the same with other ministers too, like Fred Shuttleworth and Jim Bevel. I'm going to get closer to the screen, sorry. After Mike blessed the feast, Mama expected Audrey to keep still during supper. I don't know about you, but I can't keep still during supper. But when grown-ups talked about wiping out the segregation laws that kept Black and white people apart in Birmingham, she just had to speak up. Audrey intended to go places and do things like anybody else. I want to eat my ice cream inside. Newsberries. I want to sit downstairs at the Alabama. I don't want hand-me-down school books, but stools at the counter, plush movie theater seats, books so fresh they'd crackle when you open them, Those were for white children. Hush, hissed Mama. 9-year-old children should not speak in front of company, especially ministers like Mike, Fred, and Jim, who were bringing dreams of justice. Audrey knew all about segregation. She knew to pay the driver at the front of the bus and then step off and walk around to the back door. She knew to drink from the fountain with the dirty bowl and warm water. Use the freight elevator at the department stores downtown. Front row seats, cool water, elevators, and white-gloved operators. Laws said those were for white folks only. Every Monday night, Audrey and her mama and daddy and her aunts, uncles, and cousins joined neighbors and friends at Fred's church for worship, fellowship, and testimony. She sang and swayed along with the movement choir, her voice spirited and spiritual, black and white together. We shall overcome. For once, she didn't have to keep still. Then came testimonies. White store owners won't hire me. Ku Kluxers chased me. Policemen called me names. The hateful stories made Audrey squirm. She tried to tell her mama, "That's not right." Shh. How could Mama expect her to hush? She had to make things right. But what could she do? When Mike visited Fred's church, thousands of people crowded around her to hear him preach. In a voice as taut as steel cables, as smooth as glass, he intoned, "Segregation is morally wrong and sinful. That's true." Fired up, Audrey sat taller. "An unjust law is no law at all, he proclaimed. Audrey had listened to Mike explain his plan at her supper table and knew what he meant. If a law is unjust, disobey it. Sit down inside Newberry's. Picket those white stores. March to protest those unfair laws. Why even marching was against the law. Then get arrested. "Fill the jails," Mike exclaimed. "Fill Birmingham's jails so full that policemen can't squeeze in one more person. Pack cells so tight that police will have to quit arresting people for demanding their rights." Audrey just knew Mike's plan would work. She twisted in her pew to see which grown-ups would walk down the aisle, volunteer for jail. But they mostly stayed put. Eyes staring at their feet, hands on their knees. Feet, hands, and knees didn't move. "Fill the jails," Mike pleaded, meeting after meeting, but heads shook all around her. Audrey heard, "No, best not break those segregation laws. Boss man will fire me. Landlord will evict me. Policeman will beat me." If nobody protested, Mike's plan would fail. Police would keep arresting anyone, anytime, for anything, forever. Audrey would never be able to go places and do things like everybody else. One night, Jim announced a new idea. If grown-ups won't do it, fill the jails with children. Audrey leaped to her feet. "I want to go to jail," she declared. Mama looked deep and saw that Audrey's eyes begged, "Please." "Okay," Mama said. Audrey studied down the aisle. She was going to jail. 2 mornings later, she put on a fresh pressed pinafore and her shiny Mary Janes with turned down socks. Protesters got to look nice. In the meantime, her daddy brought her a game to help her pass the time in jail. Her mama and daddy took her by Center Street Elementary tell her teacher she'd be absent, maybe for a while, maybe a whole week. While she wrapped her arms around Audrey, she knew she was proud of her. She said goodbye to her grandparents. "You'll be fine," her grandmother said. She knew Audrey would be brave. So did Audrey. Then her mama and daddy drove her to 16th Street Baptist Church, where the children were gathering. Even before she reached the door, Audrey heard loud voices chanting freedom songs. Inside, hundreds of big kids called out to friends and crowded around signs for their high schools. Parker Carver, her head swiveled. Where was the sign for Central Elementary School? Central Street Elementary. She was the only protester from her school, the youngest child in the whole church, and she knew no one. Audrey huddled by her parents in the basement. But when Jim lined her up with the others, 2 by 2, and the doors swung open, Audrey straightened up. She was going to break a law and go to jail to help make things right. Clutching a protest sign in one hand and her game in the other, Audrey marched out the door. She stomped and sang, "Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round." Half a block from the church, a white policeman stopped Audrey. He pointed toward a paddy wagon. Sentence was 1 week in juvenile hall. A matron locked Audrey into a day room with 24 other girls, all older, all bigger, all strangers. Audrey sat down alone and flipped the cover off of her game. "I told you to sit down," the matron yelled. Audrey jumped. She didn't remember standing up. The matron dragged her to a dark, empty room. "When I tell you something, you do it," she commanded, "or I'll leave you here." Trembling, Audrey quietly followed the matron back to the day room, put away her game, lay down her head, and cried. Jail was harder than she thought, and she wasn't fine after all. By evening, Audrey was hungry and tired. For dinner, soup, oily, tasteless grits. All night, a bare mattress with one thin sheet as a cover. The next morning, no fresh underwear, no new pinafore, no toothbrush. Audrey and her cellmates were let outside into an empty concrete pen surrounded by high prison walls. The older girls talked together. Audrey wondered what her classmates were doing. Miss Wills would be keeping them busy. On another day, Audrey was sent to a huge room and told to sit in a chair that was so high her feet dangled above the floor. 4 white men glared at her. She'd never talked to a white man before. "Are you against America?" one demanded to her. "Well, no, sir," she answered politely. "What do you talk about in those meetings?" another asked. "Our freedom." "Why did you march?" "To go places and do things like anybody else. What was wrong with that?" Every mealtime, Audrey stared at greasy grits. She could barely spoon them into her mouth, let alone swallow them. Every night, the cot's wire springs jabbed. Every morning, she had nothing to do but sit alone with her game. In the afternoon, though, more kids crowded into the day room. Some days, many of them arrived sopping wet. A girl explained that firemen aimed powerful hoses at the children. Surging water spun them off their feet and down the street. They got up and kept marching anyway until they were all sent to jail. By Audrey's 5th day in detention, the police couldn't squeeze in one more person. We filled up all the rooms. We filled up all the rooms. Audrey practically jumped up and down and was so proud. Watching television in the day room, she saw Black people stroll straight into stores and restaurants like they belonged there. No one else could be sent to jail. Everything had changed. After 7 days, Audrey went home. Her mama and daddy wrapped their arms tight around her and washed the jail off of her. And for dinner, hot rolls baptized in butter. 2 months later, the city of Birmingham wiped segregation laws clean off the books. Audrey licked her spoon clean at Newberry's counter like everybody else. Black and white together, like we all belong. And that is the story of the youngest marcher. And at the end pages are story about Audrey and her fight for justice. And if you want to check this book out, you can check it out at the East Lansing Public Library. Thank you so much for listening to the story of Audrey Faye Hendricks.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for filling in. We really enjoyed that story. And if you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, unmute yourself and give Miss Kristen a big thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
And is there any questions for Miss Kristen about the story? If there are no questions, I turn it back over to Kelly.
All right, thanks, Sheila. Well, thank you so much. We thank everybody for being here tonight to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we close out the program with Marvin, Elena, Bria, Journey, Ben, and Michael.
We celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
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 Uh-oh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you.
You all for coming. A big thank you for WLNS for joining us tonight as well.